Hello, everybody. It's Marianne Bailey with the Hip Senior Podcast Book Edition. Today, we are joined by Teepa Snow, who is an occupational therapist with over 40 years of rich and very clinical and academic experience. Her experiences led her to the development of the GEMS state model for understanding the progression of dementia and the positive approach training strategies. Teepa, welcome to the podcast.
I'm glad to be with you.
Today, we are talking about Heartful of Gems, which is a book written by you. And I would like for you to tell everybody what it's about.
Okay, so this book was one that I came up with working with a partner, Lynn Passelt, who is a minister. And so we do work with people living with dementia. And it so happens, guess what? There's kids often involved. And having a way to talk about dementia to kids can be a bit of a challenge because it's a complicated topic and there's often a lot
for adults, right?
Yeah, for adults, let alone, and we don't know, frequently adults aren't that educated about it when they are in the mix of providing support and care. That's a whole nother story. But for kids, it can be really scary and overwhelming if somebody in their life is starting to change and the change seems odd or weird, or I don't understand why they're doing that. And so Lynn and I came up with an idea. In Positive Approach to Care, we've chosen as our logo the peacock feather with a brain in the middle where there would normally be the eye, because we center on, we're the guardian birds, we're the guardians, and we display and we try to really make it, hey, we're here. We're the pack peacock, Positive Approach to Care peacock, because we believe that when we understand brains and we appreciate what's going on, we can, in fact, help one another through this experience. And so we came up with a story about a peacock and a little boy who was really scared. And the peacock becomes the way in which he's able to, number one, take a breath, because he's so scared of what's happening. The wind is blowing, things are changing. He's really scared. And so the peacock is the thing that says, I want you to breathe, take a deep breath with me. Now let it go. Okay, do it again. Take a deep breath with me. And let it go. Yeah.
I need that.
So yeah. It's that thing that we all need. And so the story is really that idea of we need to take in oxygen. We need to let go of the CO2 to get our brains to work better. Because when something frightens us or something scares us or something seems wrong for us, if we're not careful, our brain produces cortisol because it actually feels so threatened. And in the world of dementia, it's easy for adults to get that way. So imagine a child confronted with a grandma or a grandfather or a mother or father even that is doing things that just don't make sense, and it's scary. And so helping them really start with a very basic skill of breathing, but it's in a story format. So it's a story about, Henry and the peacock and what happens. And as the peacock is helping Henry, Henry starts to see, oh, well, that's just weird. That's just funny. That's interesting. Oh, that could be fun. And rather than being scared of dementia, it's learning that with the right kind of support, you can not only survive dementia, you can actually learn things to be engaged with someone living with dementia, and it doesn't have to be scary. And at the end of the book, there's a section for parents, because we know that often parents don't know that much, but maybe by giving them some support, that could help both parties and the person living with dementia.
I cannot imagine being a child and having a grandparent or a parent and not having that kind of support, because often, right, with dementia, like people can be fine 1 minute and angry,
get out of my
everything.
What are you doing here? Yeah.
And a child just being like, wait, whoa, what just happened here?
Yeah.
It's kind of like being with a parent that is like bipolar or stuff like that, right? It's just
exactly
not knowing from minute
brains changed. Like they can change like that. They can change over time. I could look at you 1 minute and know who you are, and then the next moment, well, come here. How are you? And I'm treating you like you're my child, not my grandchild. or I'm wanting you out because I don't know whose kid you are and I'm trying to give you to somebody. It's like, whoa.
So this book is good for even like I said, if your parent or grandparent has bipolarness is bipolar. Is that I don't know.
Lives with bipolar
Living,
disease. Yeah, yeah, or something.
you
Yeah.
know, that along with dementia, any of those scenarios,
Mhm.
right? Just
Yeah.
helping them understand why.
Yeah. Sort of not only why, but what we need to do for us, like what the kid needs, what we need to support a child in. Because if I'm having the kid breathe, guess who else is breathing better?
You know, I
Yeah.
wish that more people knew about these techniques 20, 30 years ago. I think it's becoming much more aware now that you're doing your thing. You're on TikTok and social media and really reaching people of all kinds of age groups. My $25, she's more than $25. My 25-year-old daughter is a psych major. And when I mention your name, she's all excited about you and knows your techniques. She works at a mental hospital and stuff like that. So, I'm glad that people are becoming much more aware of what they need to do in order to help support the family members and the people that are in their lives. It could be
Yeah.
teachers even that help.
It can be teachers, and librarians might actually be the ones that pull the book and say, "Oh, here's a book for you," because the kid is they are asking for, "I need a book. My grandma's there's something wrong with her." And there are some other it's not that many books out there for kids. I mean, it's getting better, but it's still pretty rare that we speak to children in reasonable, healthy ways about this thing called, Alzheimer's, Lewy body dementia, frontal temporal dementia.
Because you certainly wouldn't want to tell a child, like, oh, grandpa's just crazy, just ignore him.
Mhm.
It's a much better scenario to tell them the
Or,
truth.
the child becomes fearful of going over and they don't want to have the interaction, or the child doesn't understand why they can't just run in and hug grandma like they used to, why we want to make sure grandma sees her first and goes, and you go, grandma, and grandma goes, what are you doing here? Then that doesn't diminish the child. They just go, I came to visit, instead of, oh, I'm your granddaughter. Of course I'm here. I come every afternoon. We've got to have better strategies because we need generations to come together and provide that connection with one another. And it doesn't end just because somebody has dementia or a mental health problem or a physical health problem. And those things can all be scary for kids.
Especially these days, things are rough out there, and there's multi-generational generations living together, and if that's the case, you certainly don't want your child being scared to, come home from school or stuff like that because they don't know what they're walking into. So, Teepa, thank you for writing such an impactful book. I hope that there are a lot of families, caregivers, as well as educators out there that are seeing the need for this book and helping support those members that need it. So, Teepa, thank you for so much for sharing your knowledge and your information with us again, and for telling us about Heartful of Gems.
Welcome.
And for everybody else, head over to the purchase button and buy it, because you just never know who you can help support. So have a great day. Thank you.